Hi, y'all. This is Kristen Chenoweth.
Hi, I'm Gloria Stefan.
This is Sarah Bareilles.
Hi, I'm Patti LuPone.
This is Lin-Manuel Miranda. You're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Hey, Kermit.
Hey, Hermit. We're back.
Yoda Kermit.
Yes.
Yeah, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about.
Most of you, I'm sure.
Most of you. So this is going to be a joint feed drop, I think. And so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Alan Seals with the Theater Podcast. And who are you, Rob?
Oh, that's such a hard question. You know, we could spend the whole time answering that. But I am Robert Peterpaul with the Art of Kindness podcast. Hello.
And yeah, we were both sitting next to each other at the Tony Awards the other night and doing Instagram Reels, and somehow came up with Hermit and Kermit that social media has been clamoring. We continue. So
we broke the internet.
We broke the internet with
wild.
hashtag Kermit and Hermit. Well, we got to decide who comes first. Is it Kermit? I think Kermit should come first.
Oh, really?
Well, let's give Kermit. Kermit needs respect.
Yeah, I'll leap on over to that little pad and take
you are Kermit. You go first. First.
Well, we were trying to figure out the names of the older Muppets that are always sitting up in the theater making grumpy comments, because that's what we kind of thought we would be like, but making nice comments.
So I think it's Waldorf and Astoria, right? Waldorf Astoria.
That makes sense to me.
Them? Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Or is it Plaza and Carlisle?
It's
where
probably
the after
Plaza.
party was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so we're
rhymed.
here to talk through the wieners, the 76th. Easy for you to say. The 76th annual Tony Awards, Antoinette Perry Award wiener list, yes. and some nominees. And I'm curious actually, because we didn't debrief. The press room is a crazy time of like hurry up and get there and then wait, which is everything in the entertainment business.
Seriously.
And then once the winners start coming in, obviously we don't have a lot of downtime to chill. But let's just burn down the winner list.
Let's do it. Because suddenly it's like, it was past midnight when we left. I mean, I don't think people realize it gets so late.
Yeah. I didn't go to an after party and I got home at 1 a.m.
I needed you to come with me because what happened was, Alan, we departed, I will say, with Victoria Clark, although she got in an Escalade and you waited for your Uber, and I sashayed back to my hotel. I don't even know how to sashay. I got in my bed, got in my pajamas. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I thought, what am I doing? And so I resuited up, tied my tie, and flew down to the official Tony's after party. And then it was closing. It was winding down when I got there.
But didn't you get a golden Tony the Tiger cereal bowl, though?
I did. And I want to apologize because they were shutting that area down and they had tons of bags. And I just grabbed one and I ran like I usually do. And then I looked at the bowl and it had someone else's name personalized on it.
Oh, it was somebody's personal bowl?
Yes, but they didn't take it. I know. So I apologize to Alex Newell. I have your gold bowl. No, it's not. It's a random person's. I don't know whose it is. But
Steve Johns. John Sousa Smith. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
but I missed you. I wish you came with me.
Well, I wish, with all the gear, it's hard. Anyway, but we digress.
Yeah.
So who won? Let's just start from the top of my Google search result here for 76 Tony Award winners. Easy for you to say.
Not really.
So Kimberly Akimbo won over Some Like It Hot, Shucked, and Juliet, and New York, New York. Was that surprising to you? Expected?
No. I did not. That's one of the few shows I did not see, which is
Really?
terrible because now I need to run to get tickets and they're going to be through the roof. But I was not surprised just based on the scuttlebutt around town.
You should sashay to get tickets, though. You might have a better chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might tumble, take a hot air balloon, fly. I'll leap. No, I'll leap because I'm Kermit. And you won't go anywhere because you're Hermit.
I'll just go really slowly in a shell.
But you saw it, right? So were you surprised?
I am the shell of my former self. Yes, I did. I have seen all of the nominees, the nominated shows, and each of them I could see winning for different reasons. And I was telling everybody, I was like, I think Some Like It Hot is one of my favorite. I mean, I could pick out a favorite for each one is a favorite for a different reason. So I'm not going to get into the specifics of that. We'll be here forever. But I told everybody, I said, Kimberly Akimbo's going to win. I called that one because I think it's just the one out of all of them that's really like the most It feels like a smaller show in a good way.
Yeah.
It's more intimate. If that
kind of
makes
in a
sense.
Dear Evan Hansen way. Evan Hansen
Hansie.
way, I've heard.
Never-
Pansy, the
Never
new
Pansy.
musical.
Dear Pansy way.
Hansi Ungraddled. But from what I've gathered, that's our new name. It was such
be
a
Hansi.
beautiful. I kind of got that vibe. So if you didn't say that, I was just gonna give it to you.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
Gretel.
Hansi. It's
Okay.
like in Cabaret. It's the new
Kermit.
character.
Kermit Gretel. That's your full name now. Gretel Kermit.
KG.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm not surprised. But I do feel like it was such a beautiful season with representation and lots of fun shows. And this one kind of feels like it maybe combined and took a little bit from everything in a way. Kind of had a certain vibe. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. And I mean, Bonnie Milligan we'll get to because she won her Tony as well. And Victoria Clark won her Tony as well, both from that show. So well deserved. But next on my list from Google search here is J. Harrison G for Some Like It Hot. And I would have said, everyone asked me afterwards, like, were there any upsets? And I said, you know what? No, I don't think there were any upsets. I would have said if Jay did not win, that would have been an upset.
It would have upset you personally. It would
Well,
have
it would have
upset
upset
a
me.
lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it was such a tight year. I mean, every person, I could honestly see most nominees winning. But with him, yeah, I feel the same about you. He's just someone that everyone's been so in awe of and so inspiring in so many ways. And they gave such a wonderful speech. I want to make sure I'm using the correct pronouns here. So I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. Jay, we actually will throw it in here now. The question that we asked, but Jay said came out to me as non-binary for the first time publicly on my podcast when I first interviewed them. And edit note to self, put him first, speaking about that, and then our question. Okay, cool.
On my Instagram, my pronouns are he, they. And even that confuses people sometimes. They're like, how are you non-binary, but still like identifying with the he side and like just be and that's one thing I feel like we as a culture and a world need to embrace more is the understanding that everybody's experience is uniquely their own thing. We're conditioned to see things a certain way. It's funny, like the minute I put makeup on, people automatically will give me feminine pronouns. And it's like, why can't I just be a human being and enjoy a cosmetic and a skirt? It doesn't have to be that. And so I, in sitting here deciding, putting in my name and pronouns, it's just like, no, I'm very much a they, them. I've always felt that way of like, I watch people process me all the time.
There we go. Yes, and you asked a question to them in the winner's room.
Yeah,
one of the people picked.
Yeah, just an incredible answer.
It's wonderful to walk every day and give myself the grace to grow, to give myself the space and the opportunity every day to play, to step out of my own comfort zones and to break labels and limits and boundaries for myself first and foremost, and to hopefully be that inspiration for others. People often see me and say, oh, I could never wear that, or I could never do that. And this whole season I have been living in this mantra, you have to free yourself to see yourself. You have to give yourself that permission to walk in the freedom and the joy of who you are and what aligns with your spirit and what makes you happy in life. And so every day I'm just finding ways to walk in my freedom and my joy, and I love playing.
When you have somebody who is put into their element and all the right pieces just come together for them to be the best version of themselves, you get J. Harrison G and Some Like It Hot. That's just phenomenal. Love it.
And I will say we took a lovely video of something they said in the winner's room that was just so inspiring. I mean, the way they were preaching self-acceptance and joy, and even just on a basic level, how they get dressed. You know, they kind of dress in what makes them feel joyful. And I think it was really inspiring for a lot of people to hear.
Just look in the closet. What do you feel like today? I like that. Yeah. All right. So the next up, lead actress, Victoria Clark. One of my favies.
Is she?
Oh, yeah.
Since when? Okay, so when did you kind of fall in love with her as a performer?
Oh gosh, it actually hasn't been performer. It's just through meeting her personally a couple times now, and then once you own a Subaru, you see every Subaru on the road. But like once you, I don't own a Subaru, but I still see them all.
I used to, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Subes.
Yeah.
So I met Victoria Clark years ago in person, and then ever since then, it's just like every workshop, every album, every appearance, everything she does, she just seems so grounded and down to earth, and genuinely like, again, putting forth the best version of her into everything she's doing. And you see that in Kimberly Akimbo, because you've got this. Actually, I would love to interview her about for a one-on-one now that she's won about Kimberly Akimbo for my own podcast, because I want to.
You will. Let's say you will interview her.
I will. When I interview her.
There you go.
Because I think it's really cool that as a someone who's been doing it as long as she has, is someone of a certain age who is playing someone who is 15 going on 16, who won't last past 16. Like, you're playing an older soul in a younger body as an older person, and it's the way she put this character out there in the world is so incredibly amazing.
Well, I've been around a while. I think I've been an Actors Equity member for 38 years, and I love mentoring and teaching and working with young people. So I think one of the biggest gifts, there have been so many, but one of the biggest ones has been meeting and working with the young people in our show and having them forget that I'm not actually their age. It's been very sweet. And they're giving me so much energy and inspiring me so much.
Oh, yeah. And she seems like such a grounded soul. You know, you mentioned, too, being over 60 plus. I mean, I throw that into the category of the beautiful representation and inclusion this year that we had. Yeah. Because there was a time when you wouldn't necessarily say that about people of a certain age, that they would get these juicy roles and opportunities. And that's something that I guess, you know, there's still a lot of work to do, but to be grateful for, you know. And by the time she came out to us, I mean, everyone was so excited to see her, but everyone was also tired. And
I know, she's last in the room.
Yeah, she was fully herself. Yeah. She was like, all right, I'm tired. What do you want to know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jodie Comer, too. Jodie was like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm fried. I'm like, yeah, you probably are.
Sorry, guys, my brain is absolutely fried right now. I'm so sorry.
She fully excused herself.
I remember you turned to me during the awards at one point and were like, there needs to be a category for best one-person show. And I mentioned that to somebody else afterwards, and they said that they thought there was, and it got taken away. So
that's weird.
Hashtag bring that back. I don't know.
Yeah, hashtag bring that back. And maybe add in a casting one. I don't think there's a casting one yet, but there's a lot that they could switch around. But I do feel like the solo show, I mean, how do you compete with that?
Right?
It's Jodie Comer, and then it's just her on stage. I mean, you can't compare that to, let's say, a regular musical. You know, I won't name one. But everyone was amazing, so I guess maybe they can. So
Prima Facie versus Cats.
What about Prima What the Facie?
Prima What the Facie? Yeah,
your
that
Instagram
was
story. Alan was posting a lot of wonderful IG stories that hopefully he'll archive into a highlight. I can show you how to do that.
Yes, help this old man.
I
am a social media person of a certain age.
Hermit? No, well, only because you told me you have questions about things.
I know.
You did great.
It's less questions, more unwillingness to learn. That's more of it.
Yeah, I get that.
Sean Hayes. Good night, Oscar.
Sean Hayes, are we getting to him about, speaking of unwillingness to learn? No, what an amazing guy. As a fan of him, that was so cool.
Yeah. Oh, he came in. Yeah, so these were the categories he did at the night, right? And so he came in too. He was just like, guys, the first thing he said to all of us in the media room was, wait, have you been here all day? Mm-hmm. Has anyone fed you? Like, he was more concerned about making sure we were all okay than standing there to ask questions.
You guys have been sitting here how long? Like since 5? Are you joking me? Did they feed you and stuff? And do you get a little bit? My God. Well, it's so hot in the theater. It's unbelievable.
Sean,
I'm like worried about you guys. I just want to make you happy. Yeah.
We'll be okay.
And he knew the vibe. You had said to me beforehand, you were like, Rob, just so you know, be aware it might be a little awkward at first. There's a lot of people it's a massive room, for those who don't know, filled with tables and reporters. And some people are literally just writing live updates the whole time and not there to ask questions, which is wild to me. Yeah. Because you have these amazing people coming up. And so when you said that, I'm glad you said that, because it happened right away. And then by the time we got to the end of the night, Sean Hayes fully knew. He's like, don't worry, I've been to the TCAs or whatever. I'm used to this awkward silence. But he did seem to care for us.
It's like, has anybody been to the TCAs in LA? It's all laptops, no responses, so I feel right at home.
Yeah, he was more asking us questions about our mental well-being and our physical well-being too, versus us just asking him stuff. So
yeah,
but
because we got there at 4, right?
4 p.m.
We were there from 4 to 12:30 maybe.
Yeah, we set up at 4 p.m. and literally the pre-show winners didn't come in until like 7:45, almost 8 o'clock. Yeah. So it was a long night. Did you see Good Night, Oscar?
And soda.
Yeah, lots of. I did have a semi-hard time falling asleep from all of my caffeine.
No, I didn't get to see it, but I know you did the carpet premiere, right? So
yeah.
Did you see it that day?
Yeah, next to your buddy Samantha.
I know. Shout out Survival Jobs Podcast. That's how
right.
we finally got you guys to get them on the network, which is amazing. Coming soon.
Survival Jobs Podcast. Go check it out. Yeah.
Insert commercial.
Sean Hayes, again, it's one of those, there's 2 performances of recent years that I point to where I was like, this is what you need to watch to understand how to fully physically embody a character and make choices that just make choices, full stop. And the first one was Sam Rockwell in American Buffalo.
Wow, yeah.
The seats I got for that show when I saw it were front row, at Circle in the Square. So it's a thrust stage and literally just walking back and forth in front of me and all around and playing with every single bit of a set, just fidgeting like you would if you were just walking through a pawn shop, or I forget what the set was. I think it was a pawn shop. But, and then Sean Hayes too just comes in and he's hunched over and his face is droopy and like he's gone through this, he's put himself into this place of mental and physical anguish, and immediately he just walks in and he you're not used to seeing him like this because everything is this peppy, happy, smartless, or if you know him from Will and Grace days or whatever the case is. But he comes in and just he's a totally different person.
Like I said, I've been working on this on and off for about 23 years, and I think I needed to be the right age. I don't think I could have done this sooner, so I think it happened how it was supposed to happen. And with age comes a little more, hopefully, relaxing inside of your own body and who you are, and you don't give a shit as much, and and so you kind of with age comes more confidence to try things, and for less of a fear of failure, and that's what that's how I tackled Oscar, was just. If I wasn't going to go for it now, when am I going to go for it? When am I going to show, other sides of me as an actor? And so this is just the perfect role for me to combine drama, comedy, music all into one thing. And so
it's amazing. And I want to give a shout out too to Yaya and Corey from Top Dog Underdog again, because seeing those two, I saw that show and the 2 of them together just blew me away as well. So this was a tough category.
Yeah, a tight category. But to your point too, when Sean came in there, you could feel that different side of him. I mean, I know on Smartless sometimes he talks about it, but he opened up about his anxiety. He was very serious for the most part when he was being interviewed, which, people have multiple facets, so I wasn't surprised. But it was cool to see him in that light. You could almost feel him carrying Oscar with him, as he walked through that room, which was really interesting to me.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how instrumental he was into getting it to the stage too, because he's been trying personally for, what did he say, 20 years to make this happen? Yeah,
I think it might have been even more. And I know they had done the Out of Town in Chicago, and actually in that production it was so cool. Ethan Slater was in it, and I wish he was able to do Broadway, but dude's in the Wicked movie, so I guess that's fine.
Oh, but he'll be okay.
Yeah, he'll be fine. But I know
he'll
Sean's
just wave his residual check in your face, and he'll be okay.
Yeah, his little, he's Bach, his little Bach bow tie or whatever they're putting him in these days, or weird hat,
I hope they put him in SpongeBob pants though.
Oh, that would be an Easter egg.
Bach bow tie and SpongeBob pants.
Or like squeaky shoes, so every time he walks, it's just like they tell the folio artist like, please squeak.
Every time Bach walks in.
We're really into sound effects. I like it.
I know.
We can
I like
insert that here too. But Sean. Well, I don't know. Do you know what Sean? How he prepared? I just find it interesting that all these people can have such complex performances, but everybody has a different method for acting.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how he prepares emotionally to do this, or like researching the character. I actually want to go back now and figure out how he was involved in originally getting it created 20 something years ago. If that's what he was mentioning, right? So I figured that out. But then and he posted something a while on his social media about a week or two ago that like of him just dunking his whole arms in ice baths. Did you see that?
Oh, wow. No, I missed that.
Because like to keep swelling down for playing Gershwin 8 times a week.
Oh, yes, and he did mention that in the speech a little bit in the winner's room. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
like,
wild.
that song is not made to be played 8 times a week.
No.
It is so
people
complicated.
People don't realize what people go through.
You know, after being shot up with cortisone in my hands and my elbows so I could play it every night, because I don't think Gershwin intended anybody to play it for 200 nights in a row. But but I'm trying my damnedest.
I heard a good quote from Emily Blunt, I think, the other day when I was on the phone with her. No, I read it somewhere. I did not hear it.
While we were hanging out over coffee.
Me and Emily Blunt. And Mary Poppins said, I don't care what method people use. She said, whatever floats your boat as long as you don't sink mine. And I thought that was a cool quote because she's someone who has no idea what she does. She's like, I don't know my method. I just get there and I do it.
Oh, I thought you meant she doesn't know she's an actress. I'm like, well,
fully doesn't.
You should figure that out, Emily.
Breaking news. Yeah, she just thinks she gets to do some really cool things.
She keeps thinking she's going out to lunch and she ends up in front of camera every time. It's weird.
She's all of a sudden she's in a harness in the air with an umbrella and she's like, oh, it's raining.
Well, I guess I'll just say these lines they throw in front of me. How come all of a sudden I talk like Groucho Marx? What's that about?
No, a spoonful of spontaneity.
A spoonful of spontaneity makes the cigar go down.
There we go.
Okay,
Alan did do a cigar motion. Sorry, I just feel like that's important.
We are recording video for this, so maybe we can put some clips up. Who knows?
Oh, wow, I'm cracked out.
Let's see. Lead actor in a play, Sean Hayes. We got that. Play, Leopoldstadt.
That one quite a bit. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
You really did see everything. I can barely say it, Leopoldstadt.
It's
Leopoldstadt. From what I've read and heard, it seems fully deserving. And another important story, you know?
Yeah. Well, remember, Brandon said that there's no one way to tell this story.
The thing about Leopoldstadt that I feel deeply passionate about is that it's a story about a family that goes from the prosperous many to the damaged few. And I think there can be a misconception that this story has been told before. And I feel like it can be a means of dismissing this particular story because we know it. But the thing is, Tom Stoppard lays out all of the subtle nuances that lead to the worst possible outcomes. And we are seeing a lot of those tiny little seemingly inconsequential things happening right now. And this play is a clarion call to all of us to pay attention to those things that seem inconsequential, but in their accumulation can lead to vast devastation. And that comes from reminding people and never forgetting and continuing to tell the story, even if we feel like we know it. I guarantee you, you don't know all of it. There are 6 million people that we lost. That is 6 million stories. You can't possibly know all the details.
Yeah.
And so being able to tell one particular story of this one particular family in this one particular show is so meaningful to him and to Tom Stoppard and to, there's a reason that this show has continued to get extended as well.
Well, yeah, and he said it made him feel like he was more connected with his family and his ancestors, which I thought was really cool. Mm-hmm. So much so that he promised if he won, he would give his Tony to his parents to keep at their house.
Brandon,
yes. Which a reporter asked about, and then he kind of thought, well, now that I have it.
Now that I have it, I'll let them keep it for a few weeks. I forget what he said. Yeah. Well, put that in right now.
I'll give it like a month, maybe. You know what I mean? But like, honestly, the recognition and the validation for the work is what is sort of imbued in this actual physical trophy. So if they want to keep it at their house, they can. I feel validated and I feel honored. And I don't necessarily need to be looking at this every day to be reminded of that, I think. I think it would mean a lot to them. So.
Lead actress Jodie Comer.
Okay, now she was someone she was in my top arena of most excited to be in her orbit because I'm just such a huge fan. Did you watch Killing Eve or anything she's done before?
I have never seen her on TV. I knew she was a TV film person, but I've never seen her watched anything of hers before.
You mentioned fidgeting and just being such a down-to-earth actor before. She's someone that no matter what she's doing, I mean, she could be reading a paper in a scene and I would watch it. She's just so grounded and interesting. And that came through when she was also tired, but when she was speaking as well. I know you didn't see this one, did you?
No, I didn't see Prima Facie yet. There's a group of us that wanted to go next week, and I'm be out of town, so I still can't go see it. I just Googled how old she is. She's only 30.
She's a youngin'. And she's already done so much. She's almost an EGOT.
She was in Free Guy. I saw Free Guy.
Oh, you did? Yeah, she's the main opposite, whatever his name is, Ryan Reynolds.
Really? I didn't put that together.
She's got like a black wig on, I think.
Yeah, I didn't put that together because of the hair color. Okay, well then, yes, I have seen. I've seen it. I know.
You've seen it. You've seen it. You've seen the talent.
I've seen the talent, and I would cast her. I'm going to reach out to her for my next musical, Kermit and Hermit Take Manhattan.
Oh, yes, please, and then the Christmas version as well. She's. I wanted to see it, but I got tickets and I gave them to my sister for her birthday because she's like obsessed with Jodie Comer, and they were blown away. I mean, It's such an important story, and she said they're getting letters from all these women who can relate to the story of sexual abuse and all these important themes that they're kind of discussing in the show, and I thought that was powerful too. And she was one person I kept laughing at myself, but also to Alan whenever I did this. But I kind of like snuck a kindness question in because the Art of Kindness podcast.
Check it out.
And she liked it.
Yeah, she did. And she actually answered it pretty well.
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm such a big fan.
Thanks.
So you mentioned that days after doing 8 shows of this beast of a show. And then, of course, you've been doing extra press, and I'm sure it's been a total whirlwind, which maybe you're a bit used to by now. But I was just wondering what you're doing to take care of yourself and practice kindness during this crazy time.
Hot baths, good food, good friends. Honestly, this crew of predominantly women are just remarkable. The environment that the stage management team have created backstage is such a hub of fun and love and safety, and everyone is able to voice their concerns and their opinions, and it's just like we kind of run into the theatre every day because we want to be with each other. So it's all the kind of boring stuff of like go to bed early, eat your vegetables, drink your water. But yeah, you do have to really kind of make sure that you take care of yourself in that way, because your body is essentially an instrument, which I don't think I appreciated beforehand doing TV and film. It's a different beast. Yeah.
Give me Elmo announces the winner of Best Musical Revival. Go!
Oh gosh, on the spot. Okay.
Elmo, no.
Okay.
Elmo loves Parade, and the best musical winner survivor is Parade.
That wasn't my best.
Hey, that was pretty good.
Parade.
There we go.
There you go.
Parade did win. Parade also won a lot.
Yeah.
Paraded on down.
Yeah, that's another one of these one of the stories that definitely needs to be told. It's hard to watch because it's true, knowing that. And I think just overall a great, again, to your point, a wonderful year of representation, inclusion, diversity, and just acknowledging that there's a lot of different types of stories out there that still make amazing theater.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that they also gave a big credit to Ben Platt and Michaela Diamond. And it's interesting because neither of them won their categories, but I feel like they did win because the whole show won, and it won other things as well. But they kind of said the magic of the two of them are a big reason why, it went to Broadway.
I ran a recording session with Gordon Cox from Stagecraft podcast. Plug for Stagecraft. Shout out. So one of his recent episodes was with Michaela and Ben together, and the amount of respect and real life love they have for each other now that they've worked together. It was so cool to listen to that episode, to watch it happen in real time too. But like, go back and check out that episode on Stagecraft. And I mean, it works so well because the two of them have built each other up and helped them develop these characters so much. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that speaks to why Parade was such a good production, like you said, because of the two of them.
Yeah, and this didn't surprise me. I mean, I actually think it would be cool if one year a musical like & Juliet won, just to prove that fluffy, fun things can win awards too, because they give people so much joy. And I think that already won in a way because it's currently the highest grossing show on Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah, but, they didn't need the ticket sales, whereas Kimberly Akimbo does. We haven't done director yet. Let's see.
Okay, because I was just thinking of another person that got the crowd going.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's skip over to that real quick. Yeah, so that was Michael Arden, one for Parade, and his live speech got bleeped a little bit, but he was asked in the room what he said, and here it is.
You know, I talked about how to the queer, trans, non-binary youth out there, that we see them and they are valuable and that their queerness makes them special. I, as a kid, was called the F word more times than I can remember, and all I can say is, now I'm a faggot with a Tony. So keep faith. Know that you are beautiful, valuable. We have you. There's a community who is here who will fight for you. We will win. So keep making challenging art. Keep loving each other, supporting each other, standing up for those who don't have the strength or courage to do so, and to vote at every possible moment.
Boom shakalaka. Bless that person for asking that question, by the way.
Right.
Because we fully wouldn't have known. We just had the stream.
No, I didn't even know anything got bleeped because there was already somebody that we were listening to while he had won and was accepting it in real time in the other building.
Yeah.
So like
that's
something else that's hard about the media room is we're trying to listen to winners while watching new winners at the same time in the other room. Yeah, it's hard.
But I will say, if you have ADD like me, it's actually kind of a dream job because you can listen to a million things at once that keep bouncing back and forth with your little headphone in your ear. That's like reminded me of an airplane. That headphone kept falling out.
Wait, why do airplanes fall out? I don't get it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm really bad
Airplanes
at context.
don't fall. Airplanes never fall.
Stop. I'm going on one soon. You know how airplane headphones, they just don't really fit in your ears?
No, because I bring my own.
That's true.
I always bring my
the podcast network head. If you didn't, that would look very bad.
I fit my AirPods.
Yeah, well, you're in the air.
Because now I seem to have been flying on airlines now that have a string of, we're not giving you in-seat entertainment through our devices. You have to connect to the MyFly app or whatever it is and use your own battery to do this. I'm like, man, oh, come on. I'm paying for not using my battery here.
They don't let you do anything. They're like, pay for an extra bag. You got to pay for the aisle. You got to pay for snacks. It's crazy.
I know. And they pay for snacks in the aisle, pay for snacks in the windows, pay for snacks in the middle. Well, my hair's in my eye. Speaking of eye yells.
I told Alan that his hair was a la Zachary Levi in Tangled, even though it's CGI. It's nice. He's got a nice little flip thing going.
My hair is not CGI. I keep telling you that.
It's not?
No, my hair. This is 100% wig. I mean, real.
Oh.
No.
Kristen Wiig.
Christian Wigs.
He's wigging out. Wait, yeah, what was that?
I forget what it is. Somebody's like, oh yeah, my colleague Christian Wigs. We're like, wait a second, where's Kristen Wiig?
Kristen Wiig.
We don't see Kristen Wiig.
See, okay, here's the other thing about the fact they did the press room this year, which was amazing, and it was wonderful to be there and so grateful. And I'm just curious why they didn't want to do interviews with anybody else. You know,
on the red carpet beforehand.
There. Yeah, I know they didn't want to do the red carpet beforehand, but even like if it was just the press room and they had like whoever wanted to fly on in.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, think about though how chaotic that week is after the month of press whirlwind everyone's doing. Because on top of your 8 shows you're doing every week, then you're also doing podcast interviews and morning show performances and traveling here and doing that and whatever it is in between. And then if you're performing at the Tonys, that's your 9th performance of the week.
Oh, yeah. And the most stressful one, probably.
And the most stressful one, because that may make or break ticket sales. You never know. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
And the hottest. I mean, I heard the room was on fire.
Mm-hmm. How about yours? That's the way I like it, and I never get bored.
Oh,
hey now. The Tony Award for Best Play went to Leopoldstadt, and when amazing writer Tom Stoppard came to the media room with the Tony, what was it that somebody asked him about why he wrote this play now?
They said, why now? Why this story again? And they basically said, I mean, why not now? We need it now. And it's so true.
There's no wrong time for a play about prejudice and how to deal with prejudice and the occasionally tragic and terrible consequences of prejudice. There's no bad time to do such work. Why now? I think I got to an age and a point in my trajectory where looking back at myself, in a sense, became interesting to me for the first time.
Best revival of a play obviously goes to Top Dog Underdog. And going back to Sign in Sidney Brewstein's window, Miriam Silverman, of course, wins Best Featured Actress in a Play. Comes in later in the show and just, you can't stop watching her. She's brilliant, brilliant in her roles.
And that's really tough to do. I mean, it takes a special person to be able to do that. I know I saw the collaboration, which was not nominated for anything, but there was a similar track for Krista Rodriguez, who came in like 45 minutes into the show or something.
Love Krista.
And yeah, love Krista. And or even like you look at Waitress. Ogie doesn't come in until when? Like Act 2, maybe? I don't even know. End of Act 1. Christopher Fitzgerald. So it takes a special person to be able to steal people's hearts.
Alex Newell, speaking of stealing hearts.
Okay, so Shocked. I think that was the funniest thing for sure that I've seen on Broadway in a while.
That seemed like a true Broadway performance.
For sure.
I was surprised at some of the performance choices for the other nominees.
Oh,
so,
okay, talk me through it.
Like Kimberly Akimbo, I thought maybe they just can't curse on national TV. I don't know, but I would probably not have chosen Anagram to perform.
Yeah,
but maybe they did that because they were showcasing showcasing two people that were nominated instead of other songs which may have not.
Yeah, that might be why.
Because Justin Cooley was there with Victoria, and both of them were nominated. But I don't know. But if I was like trying to get people who were on the fence about it to see it, I maybe would have picked a different song.
So wait, guess while we're here, what was your favorite performance at the Tonys?
Oh goodness. I gotta say, once the nominees started coming in, I wasn't able to really watch the Tonys after that.
I know, it was hard.
And I want to go back and see it again. I loved the opening number, partially because and Ariana DeBose's, side note, her improv monologue explaining why she was improvising her monologue.
Yeah,
she's a gem. She's brilliant.
Oh my goodness, she killed it. And that opening number was phenomenal. I mean, it paid homage to all the shows in different ways, in just New York City, and then to the Heights where they were. It had so much going on. One cool thing about the orchestrations, I don't know if you know, but the woman who did them, I do know her name, I believe, Macy Schmidt. I think that's how you say it.
Is she unbreakable?
She's fully unbreakable. Yeah.
The unbreakable Macy Schmidt. I knew it.
Yeah, I mean, there was no script, and she didn't fail. No, she's the first woman of color to ever orchestrate a Tony Awards ceremony.
Good.
And she is now a Tony winner because she's a co-producer on Parade.
Yes.
So, yeah, that opening number dazzled me. When she jumped down those stairs, my heart jumped into my booty? I don't know. Anyway, bye.
Booty jump.
Booty jump. I was dazzled. You know, I felt the same about Sweeney Todd. I loved the performance, but I was dying about the fact that they did not include Annalee Ashford.
Yes. I think there were a couple misses there. I agree.
Yeah. And she was the one I was really rooting for that night.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, Annalee's great. Let's see. Alex Newell, Shucked. Let's see. We covered that. And Bonnie Milligan, Best Featured Actress in a Musical. Amazing. Of course, Bonnie just does no wrong. She's amazing.
Oh yeah. And rewatch her speech. What a great speech.
Yeah. And even what she said in the Tony room, which I'm going to play for you now.
I mean, I've loved Broadway since I was a little girl, and I've always loved watching the show. And, you know, I grew up in a double wide trailer in the Midwest with not much, no connections, and it took a while to get here. And for some years I had shame about how long it took me, that I didn't just get off the bus and immediately book a show. And I lost myself, and I kind of had to get into therapy and do all this stuff. So it's been a roller coaster. And to make all these connections within this community via readings and workshops and concerts well before I even hit a Broadway stage. I felt a part of this community for such a while now, but to feel this recognition is, it's like the imposter syndrome can go away. You're like, no, you belong here, kid. It's okay. Because that little girl with the frizzy curly hair who didn't have much money didn't quite believe it. And now it's like, no, we're believing it.
I have goosebumps again.
Brandon Uranowitz, featured actor in a play. I remember interviewing him a couple of years ago when he was in Burnt with Adam Driver and Kerry Russell, right? Kerry Russell and Adam Driver.
I could see the poster.
And something he said to me during the interview was interesting, was that's the first time in his career when he's gotten to play an openly gay character where being gay wasn't any part of the actual plot line. It just is. And so pulling that now into Leopoldstadt, telling this story of this family, these generations of families that were affected by World War II. And it's not like making fun, it's not a satire, it's not a sort of a typical thing you have when you're like referencing big Jewish culture in a musical or a play. And now you're telling this authentic story where being Jewish just is, and everything else happens around it. And so I enjoyed that he gets to have this moment again in Leopoldstadt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, as a half Jew over here, I know growing up, it's just
a who.
As a who?
As a who?
Where who's here, that in who will? No, I don't even know what I was going to say, but it is a hard thing growing up. There's just still so much racism and hate that to accept that and accept your story, it can be tough. So to be able to play that now and be so connected to his ancestors, I think is such a beautiful thing.
This play has reconnected me with a part of my identity that I feel like I had put on the back burner for a really long time. In some ways, I feel like there was part of me that, in subtle ways, sort of, I resented the fact that I was only allowed to play Jewish characters and only allowed to play sort of these Jewish sidekicks. And there was a part of my identity that I felt a little resentment towards. And this has flipped that, and I feel like confronting it and embracing it in this way is sort of the only reason, I mean, it's one of many reasons, but sort of the biggest reason why I'm actually here holding this, because I feel a deep sense of pride now, and it has sort of connected me, this play, to my ancestors and my family and my roots in a way that I hadn't really known as deeply before. So I'm very grateful for that.
The original score went to Kimberly Akimbo, of course, Janine Tesori and David Lindsay-Abaire, who didn't come to the media room. Sometimes people don't come.
You're right. Alex didn't come either.
Alex didn't come either. And I heard that was like a snafu in scheduling, because they were trying to the Tonys were trying to get Alex to the media room, but then Alex had to go back and perform for Shucked, and then Alex never made it back to the media room. And the logistics behind the scenes of getting winners to where they're supposed to be while still keeping them around to be on television to perform, that's hard.
It was tight. And it was only about a 5-minute drive, but there was the Puerto Rican parade that day. The streets were also closed because of the Tonys, which like they might have shot themselves in the foot. So it was like a lot of, it took longer because of that.
Yeah, gosh. So featured actress in a play, Miriam Silverman, we talked about her, just phenomenal. Tony Lifetime Achievement Award went to John Kander and Joel Grey, two of them. To see those guys come out together.
I wish they could have come to the winners.
One of my favorite moments of the New York red carpet coverage was when you talked to Joel Grey.
Wasn't that magical? What a
Right?
special person. One of my favorite moments was when he said, and I think eventually you just get trained to say this, but he was like, "It's so nice to see you again." And my heart was pounding. I was thinking to myself, you remember seeing me in the audience at Wicked? You know, what a gem of a person.
Isn't that funny though? Like you go to do enough of these carpets and then people start to remember you as the, I guess, representative of the outlet. But like I'm getting that with Leah Delaria now. So she's like, hey, it's you again. Hey, so
she's a wild one.
She's a wild
her at
one.
that New York carpet too was she's
her and Rachel Dratch.
World.
Yep, they were in another world. So
They
we'll
were
sleep.
so fun.
Book of a Musical. Kimberly Akimbo again. David Lindsay, a bear. Like Kim Ka swept this one.
What a talent.
Jerry
I did
Mitz-
think Shucked, that was a tight one for me, because Shucked, I just thought there was a joke like every 5 seconds. You know?
Yeah, that was
Mr. Horn.
That was a tough one. If I was a voter, I don't know who I would have voted for. I truly don't, because between Kimberly Akimbo, Some Like It Hot, New York, some Shucked, and Anne Juliet, they all, I gotta say, I guess in terms of like laugh a minute, Shucked is the lead, but then pulling on your heartstrings, you've got pretty much everything else.
True. Yeah.
So
that's a tough one. And I haven't seen Kimberly, so I actually shouldn't say that. And I'm sure they're all phenomenal. But do you feel like this was the first year in a while where everything felt like very deserving?
Yes, absolutely. That's why I'm saying that there were no upsets in my mind, in my opinion, there were no upsets in the winners, because everyone who was nominated needed to be there.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was a super hard season.
Yeah.
So
I have no qualms. I didn't even see everything. I was happy for everybody, you know?
Yeah. Isabel Stevenson Award went to Jerry Mitchell for creating Broadway Bears, and what did he say, raising like $50 million or something?
Yeah.
It was
Insane.
something. He's raised tens of millions over the years for through Broadway Bears equity for Equity Fights AIDS.
What a beautiful intersection of Broadway and giving back. And he lit up that writer's room,
God.
the winner's room when he came in. He
Yeah.
was like, and now the new Tony for stripping.
Yeah.
He came in hot and everybody's cracking up.
Yeah, well, that's what you get when you have a performer turned creative. You can't take the performer out of the producer.
True.
Oh man, Life of Pi nabbed a few. God,
Beautiful
just that show was one of the shows, one of the few shows I have seen as of late where by the end of it, I forgot I was watching a show. Meaning that I was so totally immersed in what was happening, because TV and film and shows, I'm always in that mindset of drone shot, crane shot, that's day for night. Oh, I wonder how they did that reverse. Or I wonder if they're cheating. Like I'm always analyzing the setup of the scene or how things are made. And by the end of Life of Pi, it ended and I was like, oh, I stopped thinking a long time ago.
That's
and that's
always
good. Yeah, when I stop thinking, it's always a good thing.
And your wife said, thank God.
Just hear that one more time. Alan, stop thinking.
No, that's a great way to put it, because it's one of those seamless, cinematic, immersive experiences. And I believe the sound designer talked too about even how they were so aware of the spatial audio with the sound and how they really wanted it to come out of the animals that were on stage when they were moving. I mean, so much work goes into a technical show like that.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is scored like a movie. There is a composer. It's a play with a soundtrack, and you can actually listen to the. It's not a cast album; it's a soundtrack. So you can listen to the soundtrack from the West End recording on your streaming music of choice. And actually, after I saw it, I listened to the soundtrack the entire way home on the subway, because I still wanted to feel like I was there. It just
like you were
transported.
in it?
Yeah, it was great. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, Leopoldstadt, best direction of a play went to Patrick Marber for that. Beowulf Borit took the scenic design for New York, New York. I mean, geez, that is a scenic challenge if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah. I mean, they even created the whispering corners of Grand Central on stage.
Oh yeah.
What an homage.
Yeah, there are all these little things that when they referenced it, I was like, oh yeah. I haven't done that in like 10 years since a long time ago. Orchestrations went to Some Like It Hot and to Brian Carter and Charlie Rosen. Costume design for a play went to Leopoldstadt. Well deserved for Brigitte Riefenstuhl. I'm sorry.
Another veteran right there.
Sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
We're Muppets.
Yeah, we're Muppets. Don't
Can't
go to
read.
them. Don't cancel us. We're Muppets. Best Direction of a Musical went to Michael Arden for Parade, which we talked about. Casey Nicola got another Tony. I love Casey. He gave me my first professional job. So scenic design of a play, of course, Life of Pi, Tim Hatley and Andrzej Goulding. I am butchering. Again, we're Muppets.
Feel free to DM Alan.
DM Robert. Let him know to tell me how badly I butchered that.
Then I'll screenshot it. I'll send it to you.
Yes, and then I'll quote it, retweet it, send it back to you with my reply. Yeah.
Yes, and then I'll TikTok it.
Ticky tack it.
You're right. Yes.
Sound design of a musical went to Nevin Steinberg for Sweeney. Costume design went to Greg Barnes for Some Like It Hot. Greg has been around. Another one of these dudes who's been around forever.
Oh, I know. What a gem. He was the first person I think that came to the winner's room.
Yeah, he's one of the very first. You're right.
Yeah.
Had some wonderful things to say.
I was like, where are you putting your new Tony? So I was just wondering, where are you going to keep your Tony?
Okay, now I don't want to sound braggadocio, but I have two at home, and somewhere along the line they changed the scale. So now they're tall, but they used to be really short, so I'm going to put two, and then flanking the little baby.
I love
right?
that.
Which
That's
will be great.
Yeah. Thank you. You have a family.
Thank you.
And Natasha Katz for Sweeney Todd for lighting design of a musical. That's challenging because somebody else took a question that I wanted to ask, which was, how do you approach lighting a show that has almost no light?
Yeah.
Because she's lighting with darkness.
Mm-hmm.
It's the shadows. It really comes from the darkness more than anything else. So it's more about what we don't see than what we do see. I know that may sound a little obtuse, but that's the difference between the two. There's very little color in Sweeney Todd. It's a very limited color palette. So they're like opposites.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too. And then the element of using the light as a character of horror.
Yeah.
Like every time the lighting comes on, it's kind of to scare you. It's like this very stark flash of light.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, for next season, Grey House, speaking of using light as a character to freak you the F out. Yeah, Grey House. So
did you already see it?
I have.
I gotta go. I gotta get a jump start.
It's good. It's very good. So go see Grey House.
It's spooky. Okay.
It is actually really good at making the audience go, oh, we're laughing at ourselves because now we're embarrassed. We're embarrassed.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Let's see, Natasha Katz. We talked about her. Sound design, Carolyn Downing for Life of Pi again. And that's all Google gave me. I'm sorry if we left out any other categories.
I think we did a good job.
So
we flew through. Some people don't include some of those categories in their recaps, you know? So
you don't get a show without all of those people and so many more.
What I'm saying.
They need a Tony design for best general manager, for
house manager,
best house manager, because the actors got to get paid. All
best
of this
swing. I mean, even the best is so dumb, but just recognize all these wonderful people.
It would be very cool to have a recognition section where you're like, and so went on for 10 different roles in 5 different days and never dropped a line.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. And then also a recognition for maybe best Broadway podcast and having 2 little Muppets in a corner and just comment the whole time.
Best Muppet commentators who happen to have podcasts goes to.
In the beginning, I thought we literally were going to sit there and whisper into the mics as it was happening. And I was down, but then I quickly realized you can't really do that.
We could be like, all right, and now Greg Evans is taking the stage. Here comes.
We could do a clubhouse or something.
Here comes Natasha Katz. She's wearing a elegant gown. I feel like a sports commentator.
She's
instead of goal, every time someone wins a Tony, we should, instead of saying goal, we go Tony.
Tony, I'm down with that.
It's like
Antoinette. Again, Jodie Comer is walking off the stage. Oh, she just fell down. She is currently sleeping on the stage. Everybody catch the Z's. Yeah, there's a lot you could say about that. Victoria Clark is getting into her Escalade right next to us. I peeped that moment.
That's right. I was like, hey, Victoria. She's like, who are you? No, she's nice.
She was on that way to the after party.
Anything else worth mentioning, worth calling out about
what if we
time?
each just share a favorite highlight? We could end with a a favorite high of the night? I mean, it was all a highlight.
You know what was very cool? My highlight of that particular experience is, aside from hanging out with you, which I'm not joking, I truly enjoyed being there with you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it too.
Thank you. Fun. Was meeting the other industry people, industry professionals there who were there to help just spread the news, capture the moment, and get it out to the world. Because as we're all talking, we're all there because we love it. We love being there. And there's some people that I've seen at all of these things, some people that were brand new. And I mean, there was someone sitting behind us, I think that was even from Japan. So like, because Broadway is big in Japan too. They I don't know if they did it this year, but in past years, they have simulcast the Tonys out to Japan. And just knowing that we're part of this major global moment.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool. It was cool when you...
That's such a good way to put it.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I think it felt like being at the best watch party ever while also being at the Tonys, because we were cheering, we were clapping together, people were crying, and then the winners would actually come out and you would talk to them. And I think I was just struck by, I'll bring it back to my podcast, all the kindness, you know? A lot of people actually mentioned kindness in their speech in saying that you can't get a show done without kindness. And I think there's a difference between collaborating in a kind way and making for a positive experience. And even in that winner's room, you know, people are lending each other cables, they're scooting over so you can, you know, there was one outlet who wasn't seated together, people are moving around. It was such a joyful time, and it probably harks back to what you said, which is like a shared passion of Broadway.
Yeah.
So it was just such a positive and fun evening, and we were all tired and kind of cracked out by the end and laughing and delirious. And I love that. I think if the night ends with you just like in another realm giggling, it's a good night.
Yeah. And then we did it this time without drugs. So that was impressive.
Yes. Oh, by the way, listeners, I often say cracked out. I just fully mean like when your brain cracks open and you're giggly.
No,
or when you eat a lot of candy. Yeah.
Eat a lot of candy, right? Candy. Yes. Candy. Okay. Yes.
And then you go into the open night air, and we were shaking and laughing. We went our separate ways. And did you fall asleep that night? It's hard with that adrenaline.
Did I fall? You mean after I got home?
Yeah.
When it actually took me a while. I was exhausted, like mentally, but because I literally, what did I have? A Coke, a Pepsi.
Yes, we were caffeinated.
And a coffee, because I was trying to like keep the energy up and keep going, because literally we're sitting. We're not even standing. We're just sitting for hours while we're talking to these people. So yeah, it was hard. It was a little bit.
I know.
It was hard to get to like come off of that once I got home. You're right.
My pitch for next year is maybe they do intermittent karaoke. So while we're waiting for people to come, they let people go up and sing or dance or just like walk around.
let the people in the media room do karaoke.
Yeah, come on. Listen.
I think that actually might not be a bad idea. So we have to sing from the musical that just won the award. I'm okay with that.
Or like trivia or something, you know, just to get those legs moving. Because like right now, I'm in the way I'm seated. When I stand up, my legs will be cracking more than Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas. Anyway, good night.
Good night, and tip your waiter.
Hermit and Kermit signing off. We could just end like smart. Let's be like, bye.
Bye.
Oh, Broadway.
So you're listening. You're probably listening to this now, dear listener, either in the Art of Kindness feed or in the theater podcast feed. And so if you are, wherever you are listening to it, go to the other one's feed and hit that little follow button so we can double our subscriber base.
Great idea.
Because yeah, and hashtag Kermit and Hermit. We have to make that trend on Twitter. So Twitter goes, what?
So it breaks. And you know what? This is how I usually end. If you'll indulge me, Alan, I know we gotta fly. But I would love to know if you have a tangible kindness tip that you think listeners can incorporate into their day. Something people can do to make the world a little better.
And this will play into the final question that I ask on my podcast that I want to ask you as well. Is part of my 3 standard closing questions. I ask somebody what's advice that you would give your younger self, or younger people listening now, starting out down a similar path. And so Michael Urie told me, and I quote this all the time, be the person that others want to work with the next time. Because if you can be kind, you be nice in the moment, and you're aware that everything you're doing has a lasting effect, positive or negative, then you're going to keep continuing to get work if you want to be the person people want to work with the next time. So say thank you. Be polite. Ask please. Everybody is tired. Everybody is frustrated in those long days. So don't take it personally. Just be nice, be kind, and be that person. So yes,
that's important. Don't take it personally. A lot of people say that on my podcast. It's hard.
Yeah,
you know.
And so then that was one of the questions that I asked on the end of mine. So the other one I'm going to ask you, one of the other three that I ask you, is if you could only see one show for the rest of your life, but you can see it as many times as you want, what would you see, Robert Peterpaul of the Art of Kindness podcast?
I listened to your podcast. Why am I like now shocked at this question? One, I've actually thought about it when I've listened to your podcast too, and I think I've gone through the spiral of, I love Spring Awakening. Would I want to watch that all the time? I don't know. I actually think, to fit with the theme of this season and not keep you here for another hour while I spiral, I could watch Anne Juliet for the rest of my life. I honestly had such a good time. I had so much fun at that show, and there's a lot of details and storylines and jokes. So I think that.
Good. I like it. All right. Yeah. Well, find us online, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook.
All the places.
Leave a rating. Leave a review for both podcasts, wherever you're listening.
Only if it's nice.
Well, you know what I've started doing? I've started reading my, I just started this a few days ago, inserting a reading of a rating into my podcast.
Yes.
To get people to write more. So if you don't like what you hear now being inserted in my podcast, leave a new one and I'll read that one instead.
Oh, I love that. And I will say, the Art of Kindness podcast is going to do a little giveaway with the theater lovers. So with the Broadway Podcast Network as well, I believe I'm going to throw them in there too. I was going to give away one of the playbills.
Yeah, the Tony playbills. Those are thick.
To get us to follow.
So if you want a Tony Awards official playbill, follow AOK Podcast. What's your Instagram?
Yeah, so if you go to the Art of Kindness podcast Instagram, at Art of Kindness Pod, or at Rob Peterpaul, or at Broadway Podcast Network, or at Theater Lovers, it should be everywhere. I'm going to do all the collaboration posts. You will find we are giving away an exclusive collectible edition Tony's Awards playbill.
Playbill!
Playbill, to quote Oprah. So you can enter for a chance to win that now.
You'll get a playbill.
But we have super secret technology here at Podcasts. And so if you're not subscribing and you win, you're not going to be the winner. Just going to say that.
You always got to subscribe.
You got to subscribe to win.
This is a stage whisper.
Places? Alan to places?
Places. 5 minute till curtain. Our lead is out sick. We need to hold, please. No. JK!
Yes, all right. Get Alan a wig, a different wig.
A different wig. I gotta practice my toss.
We're officially wigging out, but this was so much fun.
We are Kristen
and thank
wigging
you all
out.
for keeping with us. If you're still here,
if you're still here, what are you doing? But thank you.
Thank you.
Take a deep breath, make the world a little colorful.